Hello and welcome to Healthier Habits. I'm Brian Bessey.
And I'm Nicholas Anderson.
And I'm Emily Hill.
This is the podcast where we adopt a healthier habit every week and give you all the details.
And for this week's healthier habit, we'll be going vegan.
But before we get into that, Nick Anderson and I must talk about last week. On the last upload of this podcast, Nick and I adopted the healthy habit of running. And if you want to know how you can begin your running routine, you can listen to that podcast or that upload on the Branding Iron website or on the YouTube channel. So, tell me, Nick, how did running go for you?
It went sort of well in some ways and not so well in other ways. So I ran a couple days last week. I didn't do the whole, 5 days with 2 days off just because my body wasn't working with that.
No, same here.
But anytime I did run, I did a lot better than I thought I would, especially for not running so long. It's just that, after I got done running, like the next day, like my hips would just be a little too sore for me just to go out right away and do it. And some days I was just busy, but anytime I was running, I felt great.
Right.
And I'm hoping to just continue doing every other day or every other 2 days and build it up some more.
Got it. I mean, every time we do a healthier habit on this podcast, we always go like 5 days a week, every single day. Obviously, that's not the healthiest way to go about it. We're doing the extreme. But I actually had a really similar thing too. Like, I kind of want to keep trying this. I was only able to do it for 1 day, which is stupid, ridiculous. It was just because it was the weather and all the bad stuff out there. But do you recommend it, do you think?
Do I recommend it? I mean, anytime, I always recommend running. Running, when I was doing it, was such a huge part of my life. It's something I'm in love with to a degree.
Okay.
Or I used to be in love with, and doing it again, I'm just it's like seeing an old friend that you want to keep seeing some more, and that's how I feel towards it. And that's why I want to keep pursuing it and keep doing it as much as I can.
Got you. That's cool. I kind of had a same thing. It's not like an old friend. It's more like a new friend that is a little bit of a jerk at times. But I don't know. It was generally good. Again, I wasn't able to run every single day of the week because I've been so incredibly busy and the weather was awful. Well, it's going to get worse. But I am planning to see how much I can run in the next few weeks. I'm going to keep trying to do it. Maybe every now and again, just try to do it. But yeah, again, you can't just change on a dime. You know what I mean? Adopting healthier habits, they take time. So my pros that I had when I was running was I love my adrenaline after running. I did a night run on Monday, and afterwards I was just I'm pumped. Although it's 9 p.m., I was just I'm ready to do things. It also felt amazing to actively do something. I love the feeling of really achieving my goal. I love the idea of it. And lastly, I actually really like the pain. Waking up the next morning and in my calves, the burning sensation. I actually kind of really like that.
Well, it's satisfaction that you did something.
Right.
And I think that's it's one of those things. An old teacher of mine used to say successful people are doers. Mm-hmm. So it's if you're thinking about, should I go for a run or should I not go for a run? Go for a run. You're doing something. If you don't go for a run, then that's just something you just didn't do today.
Right, yeah. No, that's a good point. Just do it. Isn't there a popular ad campaign, something like that? Just do it?
Nike.
Oh, I thought it was a healthier habit exclusive kind of thing.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I mean, possibly it is, but I know Nike's tagline is just do it.
Okay. Well, maybe we can make our own ad or something. My cons, though, I don't know. For me, these were pretty big and crippling. So the weather, obviously bad, right? And I know we said last podcast that we would try to go to Half Acre if it was bad weather.
Yes.
But I live so far away from Half Acre that it's just it's not really a thing, If I'm here on campus, I'm going to have to pack my own clothing, you know what I mean? Then bring it there. And it was just a lot of extra steps that last week I just wasn't able to do. With this podcast, however, I already have plans and everything, so I will be able to do this thing. But the biggest con I had was when I was running, all I thought was people thought I was dumb. You know what I mean? For just going out there. I don't know what it is, but it's just oh, look at that idiot. Why is he running out there? That's all I'm thinking. I'm just putting myself out there. And so I assume everyone judges me.
Yeah, well, That's a big thing. Runners sometimes do get a lot of like flack because especially if you're running outdoors, because you're exposed to anyone out there, and there's the people who roll down their window and be like, "Run, Forrest, run!"
Yeah, exactly. I was so scared of that, so like petrified. That's why I didn't want to take that extra step to go run.
But I guess one thing I always keep in mind is you're running, so like if someone's bugging you on 5th Street. You're going to be at 6th Street in a couple seconds. Then you're going to be at 7th Street in a couple seconds. Yeah. And it's just one of those things. It's really, it's a mental game as well. And you have to just focus on yourself. Got ya. In my opinion. Like, I ran without music when I would run. Because one thing is that just helps me focus more on my mind, my body. Like, running with music is perfectly fine. I've definitely done it before. But there's been some studies where running without music helps you just focus on yourself. Yeah, I've heard about that. Your heartbeat, your breathing, etc. So, how about we play something real fun here? In 3 seconds, we both say if we recommend it or not. So 3, 2, 1. I recommend it. Oh, yeah. My bad. Sorry, let's do that again. 3, 2, 1. I recommend it. Okay, well, in general, I think we recommend you try running if it doesn't work for you. But if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Don't feel like, oh man, running is the thing. I have to do running. If it doesn't work, don't do it. Like we said last time, if you're suffering from any kind of diseases, or if you are overweight in some way, right? If you're over 40, you might be able to talk to a doctor to make sure you don't kill yourself, you know what I mean? But yeah, but give it a try. And if you want to know more about how you can begin running, you can listen to the last upload titled Running. Well, Nick, it was great having you on the show, and you are welcome back anytime. Well, thank you for having me, Brian. But enough about running. For this upload of Healthier Habits, my co-host Emily Hill and I will be adopting veganism. So, Emily, I have heard that you have dabbled in the world of going vegan before. Could you tell us a little bit more about your experience?
So, a lot of the things that I've done have been heavily related in being vegetarian. And especially this year, I've definitely dabbled a lot in being vegan, especially since I've dropped my meal plan. So, I make my meals every single week for lunch, and it's just so much easier to make them vegan. Even just making your meals just sounds like a great idea. Yeah. So far, I'm loving it because you and I teamed up yesterday and made some meals. So I'm excited to just not even worry about it. Actually, I ate my first meal and it was so good. It had tofu and I had my first one of the week, and it was just tofu just drenched in barbecue sauce. And it tasted fantastic. Yeah, I had one piece of that, and it was amazing. Honestly, the bad rap tofu gets for flavor-wise, I mean, it just absorbs flavor anyway. And I don't know, the one that we just had pan fried, with garlic and crap on it, and it kind of tastes like chicken. It was just softer chicken. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good, honestly. Yeah, even Washiki's gotten way better with their vegetarian options, especially with tofu. I've heard about that. But let's get right into the game since we're running a little slow on time here. But before we tell you about the facts of going vegan and why you should consider it, we must first play the best and only game on this podcast. Quote, "Who said that?" Unquote. This is the game where I tell my co-host, in this case Emily, a quote, and they have to guess who said it. And if Emily wins, she will receive a personal note written by me. Well, Emily, are you ready for your first quote about veganism? As ready as I'll ever be. Okay. Quote, "It takes nothing away from a human to be kind to an animal." Unquote. Can you give me a time frame? Time frame? He's alive, and it's a he. His last name is a bird. A fictional bird. And he doesn't like running, but he loves using his feet for another activity we do often. Walking. I'm drawing a huge blank on this. You're good. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 more seconds. Okay, it's Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix said, "It takes nothing away from a human to be kind to an animal." Now, you don't have a point yet, but you still have 2 out of 3 you can get, and that's not too bad. So, second quote. Quote, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated." Unquote. Is this person still alive? No, he is super dead, and he's a he. Your hints are just so helpful. He's a bald man. Really? Yes. Bald man,
I imagine. Well, he's very small and frail. I mean, he could be like 7 feet tall. I just never seen him like again. I don't know. He's a skinny man. He fasted a lot in India.
Is it just Buddha?
No, not Buddha.
No.
Not Buddha. Recent.
Recent?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Like Dalai Lama recent?
Like more recent or.
But you said he was dead.
Well, yeah. Like David Bowie's
Gandhi.
dead. Gandhi. There we go. Yep. Gandhi. Ding, ding, ding. You got that one. So 1 out of 3. Let's see if you can get the second one here. Quote, whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect.
Is this from a politician?
No, he did have some political stuff in his books that he wrote, and it's a he, and he's dead. I think it's Halley's Comet, or Halley's Comet. He was born when Halley's Comet passed once. I think it is. And then it passed when he died.
Oh, I know this fact, but I don't know who it is.
He goes by a different name. His real name is like Clemens. Huckleberry Finn himself.
Oh, no.
You got this.
Mark Twain.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. 2 out of 3. That's pretty good.
For some reason, J.R. Tolkien was running through my head.
Oh, got ya. No. That was Mark Twain. He said, quote, whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect.
Thank you for that lovely note.
Absolutely. Now let's get into the facts. Okay, so I would like to begin with a quote from vegan.org. So, quote, while vegetarians choose not to eat animals, vegans also avoid eating dairy, eggs, and honey, as well as not wearing fur, wet leather, wool, down, or using cosmetics or chemical products, tested on animals. Why vegan? Veganism, the natural extension of vegetarianism, is an integral component of a true cruelty-free lifestyle. Living vegan provides numerous benefits to animals' lives, to the environment, and to our own health through a healthy diet and lifestyle. So that was from vegan.org if you didn't know exactly what a vegan was. So this is the definition, but for this week, we are going to go vegan light. So we aren't going to do anything for ethical reasons. So we're not going to go vegetarian because we're not going to drink milk or eggs or or eat cheese or eggs because that's part of being vegan. So we're really focused on the healthy part, the integral body healthy. So yeah, like anything like products that have been animal tested, we're not going to do the research to do that because that's not really a part of what this episode's about. If you want an episode where we go full vegan, just comment down below and we can do it, right, Emily? Mm-hmm. But with that out of the way, I would like to share some interesting facts about veganism. So the first fact I have here is there's been a 600% increase in people identifying as vegans in the U.S. in the last 3 years. And then further into this, I find it kind of funny because it's a little exaggerated with the 600%. But according to a report by research firm Global Data, only 1% of U.S. consumers claimed to be vegan in 2014. And in 2017, that number rose to 6%. So although it's not huge numbers, you know what I mean? Like it's not like 20%. It's still an increase of some kind.
Yeah, but think about it. If you put it into this perspective that there's a billion people, say, in the United States, which we know they're not. Yeah. And back in 2014, only 1 million people were vegan, and now 6 million people are vegan. Sure. It's a really big increase if you think about it in, I guess, logistical terms.
Right. I guess at least it's an increase. Mm-hmm. It just kind of shows that veganism is growing. So this is the second fact here, along with the United States, other countries are also having an increase with people identifying as vegans, like Australia and other European countries. So it's getting more popular. You also have more celebrities and athletes shifting to a plant-based diet or a mostly plant-based diet, like Tom Brady. He does mostly plant-based diets. I didn't know about this. And he eats 80%, non-meat and I think a little bit of meat. Yeah, that's just his thing. But with more people going vegan, it's less becoming just a fad, of the past 10 years or so, or 5 years, but it's actually a real change. People are thinking it's a real change, so only time will tell with that one.
The next article we found is 7 considerations before going vegan, and we'll share 3 important tips. In that article, it states that calories are really important. So the initial switch to veganism can lead to cutting huge sources of calories and increasing the amount of fiber in the diet, leading to a fuller feeling. Avoid losing unhealthy weight and lean body mass by including plenty of nuts and seeds, whole grains, fruits, which can be dried, fresh, or frozen, and legumes like beans. Another helpful consideration from the article was to eat food that's unprocessed. A lot of vegetarian products are frozen, packaged, and processed. When foods are processed, some of these things are lost, especially the fiber, antioxidants, and potassium. So try not to eat processed foods.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good general tip.
Right,
but
exactly.
Especially for veganism.
Yep.
And third, one of the most important ones is your iron consumption. So vegans need about twice as much iron as meat eaters do because of the different types of iron found in vegetable foods versus meat. If you're an athlete, you're going to need even more. Focus on getting plenty of vegetables, beans, and nuts to get your iron, and try to pair them with vitamin C-rich foods and enhance absorption.
Okay, I'll keep those in mind, and I think you, as the viewer, should too. But now on to the health benefits of actually going vegan. So according to nutritionfacts.org, people today are more often suffering from high blood pressure than ever before. Some correlate this with a shift in diet to processed foods and animal-sourced foods. So this article states that when a group of researchers studied vegetarians who switched from eating meat once a week, their odds of heart disease increased 146%. Their odds of stroke increased 152%. And their diabetes, the odds of diabetes increased 166%, and weight gain increased by 231%. And lastly, during the 12 years after the transition away from vegetarianism, or eating veggies, vegetarian, whatever, meat eating was associated with a 3.6-year decrease in life expectancy. Yeah. So, yeah, at least going from vegetarian to eating meat, those are the downsides. So if you're already on that good track, don't go backwards.
I can contribute to going from vegetarian to eating meat again, and you will definitely gain weight.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
That's what I've heard. And I don't really want any heart disease or strokes or diabetes or weight gain, so.
Especially when you already have them in your genetics.
Right, exactly. But researchers have also found that a more plant-based diet may help prevent, treat, or even reverse some of our leading causes of death. So including heart disease again, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure. So plant-based diet intervention groups have also reported that there's improved digestion, increase in energy, and even better sleep, and even a significant improvement in their general health. Studies have also shown that plant-based eating can improve not only body weight, blood sugar levels, and the ability to control cholesterol, but also emotional states, including depression, anxiety, fatigue, sense of well-being, and daily functioning.
Moving on, we have another article from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. This article states that in general, vegetarians typically enjoy a lower risk of cardiovascular disease, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers. According to the evidence criteria of the World Health Organization and Food and Agricultural Organization, cancer risk reduction associated with high intake of fruits and vegetables was assessed as probable or possible, and the risk of CVD reduction as convincing.
Wow.
And so another article states that both a low-fat vegan diet and a diet based on ADA guidelines improved glycemic and lipid control in type 2 diabetes patients. These improvements were greater with a low-fat vegan diet.
Wow, that sounds like some good evidence, honestly, to maybe not make the change, but we'll get into that. So one last little article. This one is a bit controversial, and shocking, but here you go. According to WHO, which is the World Health Organization, red meat and processed meat is a carcinogen leading to cancer. So with the article attached below, again, if you want to see any of our sources, they're down below in the description description. You can just click right on them. But red meat refers to all mammalian muscle meat, including beef, veal, pork, lamb, mutton, horse, or goat. Processed meat refers to the meat that has been transformed through salting, curing, fermentation, smoking, and other processes to enhance flavor or improve preservation. Most processed meats contain pork or beef, but processed meats may also contain other red meats. And the IARC working group considered more than 800 different studies on cancer in humans to find this information out. So there's a lot of studies about it. Now, if you think this sounds fishy and you're not buying it, I mean, it is pretty scary. Especially because all of us have grown up eating hot dogs and hamburgers on the 4th of July, and it's scary that might lead to cancer. So if you're not getting it, I implore you to look at our sources to find an irregularity. And if you find that irregularity, please email OneTV. Down in the description, there's contact info. You can email me or even comment down below. I want to start a conversation. So if you feel like this is vegan stuff or even just eating meats or whatever doesn't cause cancer, and you have enough information to support your claim, please, I would love to start a conversation.
All right, but now the real question. How can one properly go vegan? So here's some tips that we have. First is you certainly don't need to go vegan all at once. Some people do it overnight, while others ease into it over months or even years. How fast you go into it is not important, but rather that you do it in a way that's easy and comfortable for you.
Right.
Another great step is to plan your meals out. We talked about this earlier and how that we both work together on Sunday to plan our meals for the week. It only takes about an hour, maybe 2, depending on how much you want to cook for yourself, but it really saves you time throughout the week.
Oh, yeah. I love it so far.
The third tip that we have is to keep track of your calories. Since you're going vegan, you're not consuming as much heavy calories that you may get from meat or other processed food. So in all reality, you can actually eat more when you're being a vegan. But it's just to keep an idea that you're still consuming enough calories to keep yourself healthy. And the last tip that we have is to do your own research. Like Brian was just saying, there's all these articles saying that meat could be considered a carcinogen, whether it's a type 1 or a type 2, but it's up to you on what you want to understand and what you want to research and if this is something that you want to go into. So just always make sure that this is a diet that you're going to be going into and research what the pros and cons of it could be.
Yep, exactly. And this last thing we're going to share about the facts, but for y'all who are hesitant about the amount of protein you'll be eating in a vegan diet, I have some things for you that proves, you're still going to get protein through a vegan diet. It's just not through meat. Crazy. So nuts and seeds are an easy way to just have a snack or just throw in your salads. Beans and lentils to thicken sauces, soups, dips, and bakes, and tend to be included about 100 grams of protein, or 10 to 20 grams of protein per 100 grams. So there's a lot of protein in that. And soya beans with tofu. Like we were saying earlier, we made meals with primarily tofu as the main thing. But again, if you want to look at any of our sources, and I implore you do look into those things. If you find a irregularity or anything that you disagree with or whatever, just email or comment down below and we can start a conversation, a healthy conversation. But we're going to go to the last thing here in the last 2 minutes we have. So if you want to know more about veganism, you can look in the description down below. Like we said, but let's get on with it. Our last segment of the podcast is things I found on the internet. And this week is all about odd stories I found on the internet about veganism. Sadly, since we are running out of time, I can only share one thing I found. So Kevin Smith, a longtime filmmaker, actor, comedian, comic book writer, author, and fellow podcaster, recently became vegan. So earlier this year, Kevin Smith suffered a heart attack and has since taken control of his health and has lost 51 pounds and became a Weight Watchers ambassador. He posted a picture on Instagram of his results, and honestly, they're amazing and inspiring for those who want to, control their health like he did. The picture itself can be found on the article listed below. But going through that super fast, Emily, it's time to end this upload of Healthier Habits. And if you want more information about how you can go vegan like Emily and I, you can look in the descriptions and read from our sources.
Also, comment on this upload and tell us what you want to hear about.
And remember, we are also on social media, Insta, Twitter, and Facebook. Yes, Facebook, the forbidden fruit to boost your ego.
Check back next week when Brian and I tell you about our experiences with going vegan and introduce the next healthier habit.
And as always, be safe safe and be healthier. Bye.
Bye.